I'm Mark Mort. I'm in the Department of Ecology and Evolutionary Biology, and the course that I've been working on redesigning over the past two and a half years is Biology 152, which is Principles of Organismal Biology. It is one of a two-course sequence that the majority of our majors in biology have to take. And so that gave me the blank slate to come back to the instructors and say, we are content-oriented. What the instructors who teach courses downstream want are students who are more versed in the scientific method, who can actually read scientific papers, who aren't afraid of looking at graphs and trying to interpret them. And perhaps we should step back and really make that some of the key outcomes we'd like from this course. Teach the students how to study, how to think like a scientist, so that then when they get to the upper level courses, they've got that background prerequisite and mindset to basically dive into these upper level courses. We basically front load the semester by going through some basic Socratic kinds of reasoning and Socratic methods so that the students become more comfortable with not giving answers and answering questions with questions. A lot of these group activities where we do that, they are things that don't necessarily have one single interpretation or one single way of approaching it. And so we read, and sometimes we read peer-reviewed scientific literature, and the question may be, what's the next logical extension of this research? Talk about it for 10 minutes. There's no correct answer there. There's a lot of different things, and it makes the students really reflect upon what they've read and what they've answered and turned in as far as questions to kind of guide their reading of that, and to think, I think, more critically as well, what would we do next? What is the next step in this research? So there clearly are times whenever we do things where there is a correct answer, and we want to get them to that. But sometimes letting them meander along before getting there can be really effective. I think especially scientists, there is an answer and there is a right way. But every one of those concepts that we want to get them to know, point A, point B, point C, there's also a lot of research that's left to be done. There's a lot of interpretation that can be done. And I think in a lot of ways, telling the students, yeah, there are certain things out there that we have enough data that we know this is the way it works. But more importantly, the reason why I have a job beyond just being here as an instructor, but being a researcher, is that we don't have all the answers. And I think it's uncomfortable and it's difficult and it takes more time to come up with those kinds of activities and to deliver those kinds of activities to the students than if we went in with a PowerPoint and said, here's point A, point B, and point C. But at least the initial feedback from the students, I think that they appreciate that, and they're still going to get all of that content drilled into them. We're just preparing them to think a little more critically and to be open-minded and to realize that it's science. There are facts, but there are more open questions than we have answers to.